members of the Malacanang Press, live from Beijing, China, the President of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Are you a mixed crowd here or Philippines only? Okay. So let me just go over the. Okay. Would you like me to make an open statement? Yes, it will be just to say that we would like to thank the People's Republic of China for allowing us to visit the country and to have a wide-ranging bilateral talks regarding shared mutual benefits and other issues that are of importance to the regional peace and security, particularly the Southeast Asia. We have identified broad outlines. There can be no specific agreements at this time, and we would be glad to engage them in every other way we can to enhance the peace of the region. I am ready to answer your questions. Yes, before I have read this short of the talking points about the tropical cyclone Lawin, which should hit our country, make the landfall any hour now. And we have put in place all things necessary to mitigate whatever consequences the cyclone would bring. By that I'm saying that it is really the destructions that we anticipate and the lives that will be lost. I hope there would be none, but just the same, we can expect some sort of a stronger typhoon this year. We are ready for everything. All is in place. The mitigation guys, the local and the national have been alerted, and of course the concomitant storm surges and strong winds and the possible loss of lives. So the Department of Health is there together with the DSWD, and the preparations are made. Medical kits and of course medicines are already in place. It has been deployed since the other day, and we hope for the best. We only pray that we be spared of a destruction such as in the previous past, which brought agony and suffering to our people. But we are ready. Everything has been deployed. All that is needed is really just to wait it out and wait for the proper advice coming from government. Kung susunod lang lahat, we might be able really to expect a lower damage and lesser loss of lives. I am prepared to answer your questions.
Yes, Mr. President, first question will come from Sandra Ganeldo, GMA7.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. I'll be asking, sir, about your trip to China. Meron na po bang mga agreements na nabubuo between the two countries as well as yung tinatawag po na business-to-business agreements that are being finalized at the moment?
No, it would come tomorrow. What we have, I said, is the agenda on broad outlines. Then we will engage each other in a bilateral talk, which might really be long, and that is the time that we can come up with hard agreements. We just agreed that we would talk about the China Sea, one, and of course the maritime safety, another one. Those two are different altogether, different subject matters. 3, the freedom of navigation, to what point and where, that's another one. So, and of course, the security of the region. We have read the outlines, I said the broader ones. We have reviewed it thoroughly, and during the bilaterals, there would be specific agreements arrived at. I am sure. As there would be disagreements also, which we cannot avoid, but we can maybe dispense it altogether and put it on another day. Kung hindi tayo magkaintindihan.
Sir, another reporter will be pursuing that point, sir. But on the economy side, I understand, sir, na yung Mindanao Railway Project po very important po sa inyo. Meron na po bang update kaugnay dyan dito sa pagbisita niyo sa China?
Well, we talk of infrastructures. I said on the broader outlines, what would be the infrastructures and in what vicinity would it be applied. Part of it is really the railway, which Mindanao has been craving for ever since, and even in the Luzon Islands. But part of that really is also a critical issue of the traffic in Cebu. Unlike in other places, other provinces, we might not really be so persistent about it. But Cebu has one of the crowdest congestions outside of Manila. Davao is nearing but not so. But in a scale of 1 to 10, if you put Cebu at about 8, Davao is nearing about 6:30. Might as well in that para may visual tayo kung saan tayo pupunta. We'll do it that way. So, ganon. But my opening statement previously was that no country in the world ever progressed or move on faster in development if you do not have the railway. The only problem is Mindanao, what was taken up by the security guys, and which was really correct, was that how about the peace and order? There might be some purposely, the gangster and all, they might derail the trains and things like that. But I said hand in hand with really the improvement of the lives of the people would be the accompanying lessening of rebellion. And there's enough livelihood for everybody. I think we can move on with our country to a new degree of civilization.
Thank you, Sandra. Next question from Pia of Raplan.
President, good evening. My question has to do with the West Philippine Sea dispute. Mayor, is joint exploration for oil and gas in the West Philippine Sea something you are planning to bring up or propose to President Xi Jinping during your bilateral talks?
No, I do not think that would be right. I have yet to go. It's not, well, of course, the Philippine, in our side, in styles of the America and the Philippines, we follow the executive department, a strong one, and it is the president who declares the national policy, and he takes use of foreign relations. But that is afterwards alone. But if you plan to give up something, if you plan to give up, or if you plan to share what you have, if it is really yours, then you cannot talk about it openly on your own. This has to be with the consent of Congress and everybody, every Filipino involved in town. So at this time, I am not empowered to do that. I cannot give something, and I cannot also add what has not been given me.
Sir, follow-up question. Will you be bringing up naman po the issue of fishing rights in the West Philippine Sea? And what if China gives concessions on this but will give conditions? What will you do, sir?
I will mention it in passing. It's very important because it's livelihood. We will not talk hard on who owns what, because that is contested. Insofar as on the side of those who believed in the International Court of Arbitration, we have won. But on the side of China, that is not a verdict that is acceptable to them. So in other words, the reality there now is that there is a contest and a conflict. And if you think that there will be an agreement where we give or take or go into a compromise, that has not been taken up even locally. And you would know because you are from there. There has not been any meeting between the Congress and the Executive Department and even the Supreme Court. Justice Carpio was been talking a lot about it.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Now that we are to start our formal, bilateral meeting with the Chinese counterparts, are we looking or any plan after what we are trying to start any foreign policy? Are we trying to seek or start a joint military or any military alliance with our Chinese counterparts?
There will be no military alliances entered into. There will be no military alliance broken. What I'm just saying is that we are not interested in adding fuel to what is already a volatile world. Then I said that there is just no such thing as allowing the missiles there or missiles there. I would not allow it. And I have repeatedly said, anybody who wants to think about, who talked about Third World War, and even a conflict on a regional level, low intensity thing, it would not promote anything. I am not into that. And if you talk about America, Russia, vis-a-vis China, Great Britain, France, Iran, Pakistan, India, there's a conflict going on. It's getting hot. And if you think that if those nuclear bombs will explode at the same time, then we might not be able to board our last plane out of China. Because it will just simply end the world. So what's the point of talking about why should I borrow missiles or ask for nuclear bomb? For what? Those just crazy people who want to pull stuff on a matter of national pride.
So, last point, with regards to your campaign against drugs, now that we are in China, do we intend to seek a high level of cooperation on to interdict and to resolve this drug menace and crisis in our country?
What we should expect really is the appropriate word that China has said. It is supporting our drug war, It does not need any additional firearms. It does not need any cannons or any weapons of human destruction. What we need really is a vigorous law enforcement. And I have said already that they are willing to help us in the matter of the treatment and help in the logistics in building the rehabilitation centers, for we are pressed at this time of the funds, and have assured us that they will support our stand, even internationally, that we are doing it right. And as I've said, we are. I'd like to remind everybody, we need not repeat the personalities or the persona or the countries, that the Philippines has every right to defend itself as a matter of self-preservation. 4 million scattered all over the country with drugs, and about 6,000 policemen plus 4,000 local government mayors, governors, officials, and the basic political units already taken into the drug scene. We have anarcho-politics. I know it's late in getting into the head of everybody that the portals of the national government have been opened to drug influence. Look at Dilima. You think those officials who testified against her are lying? There's so many NBI agents and all, and her odious character. She's raising the view of womanhood to take away the heat, more than just being afraid of being put into disrepute. The fact is, if those connections are true, she will rot in jail. She will rot in jail. It's no bail. Because not only did she encourage in allowing Shabu to enter in and out in trafficking, she was a principal by direct participation. She could be the indispensable cooperation, which is the second stage, which without her, those doors would not have opened. Or if it's really a conspiracy, it's really the act of one is the act of all. With the testimonies of those who lied and previously, and given the test of the crucible of direct cross-examination, and put it to test. I'm telling you now, she is in danger of going to jail. And remember, the moment the indictments are charged in court, there is no bail. And she could be what Gloria Arroyo suffered. So, yan. Kamapans.
Mr. President, any directive for the PNP regarding those violent dispersal in front of the U.S. Embassy?
Well, ganito yan. Whether it is a friendly or a not so friendly embassy all over the world, we are bound by international rules, and that we have to allow the establishment of embassies, especially if you have citizens in that country to protect. Now, I do not know what happened. I was just shown with the footage. I am not ready Though I think the demonstration was made in the premises of the U.S. Embassy. And there was a dispersal, and given my orders for a maximum tolerance policy sa police, let them as I said early on, if you want to demonstrate, tell me. I'll give you a permit for 1 week. Just do not invade the constitutional orders of the right also to use the streets and be safe. I will have to investigate. I will have to make calls tonight. But just to be very sure that I do not commit or I do not stray along other side issues, I'll just wait for the official announcement to make upon my arrival. By that time, I would have completed my assessment, personal, which will be provided by the police and the military. And of course, not only them, but the DILG. So, and I would also would want to hear the report of the Executive Secretary who takes care of our government while we are away here. I'm not going into the blame game. I'm not going into the blame game at this start.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
But I'd like to know if somebody knows here, bakit sila nag-rally doon sa Amerikano? Anong issue ngayon? Hindi naman, bigas. Ikaw, si Pia. You're always well informed.
I think they're against U.S. in general, the bases and military alliance.
With the police, they want the military alliances abrogated. Hindi tayo sumasimangot ka nga eh. Pagka sumasimangot ka, ibig sabihin wala tayong alam lahat. Ikaw yung nauna dyan eh. Sumihimik ka. Yan lang. Nagligo ako, nag-toothbrush ako, nagbihis ako. Pabango ako. Ito, kasi mga... Ito, mga ano to.